New York is going to begin enforcing a new law that regulates Airbnb rentals in New York. It happens today, and some say it could amount to an effective ban on short-term rentals.
Do you know about the new NYC Airbnb law? Welcome back, welcome home, and let's talk. Last year, New York City passed a new law to enforce its old laws, according to the city, regarding short-term rentals. The city published the final rules for these new laws on February 5th, 2023, and the city started enforcing them on September 5th, 2023. So let's talk about it. The purpose behind these laws, according to the city, is to make sure that there's more housing available for New Yorkers who live in the city, as opposed to more rooms for tourists and visitors. According to city officials, short-term rentals exacerbate the already existing housing problem that we have in the city with a lack of available apartments, and that drives the rent prices through the roof. Now, before we dive into what these actual rules are and what you need to do if you want to do short-term rental registrations, if you don't want to do short-term rental registrations anymore, if you're just looking for long-term tenants, my contact information is down in the comments and descriptions below, and there's a link you can fill out for our intake form. I will follow up with you because we do have a number of qualified tenants who are always looking for apartments. All right, now let's talk about these rules, because they are going to mean a huge decrease in the amount of short-term rentals that are available in New York City, and it's already taken effect. So first and biggest rule is that you must register any short-term rental with New York City through the Mayor's Office of Special Enforcement. That means you gotta get a permit, and there is a non-refundable application fee of $145. Second huge rule is that hosts must live in the short-term rental that they are obtaining a permit for. So if you have an investment property that you do not live in, that's automatically X'd out by New York City under these new guidelines. It has to be a residence where you live that you're gonna register as a short-term rental. There can be no unhosted short-term rentals anymore. Furthermore, you can only rent out your entire home now, not just a room, for no more than 2 guests at a time and not more than 30 days in a row. You cannot do a short-term rental for more than 30 days. That's automatically going to convert into a long-term rental. These are huge changes taking effect, and let's talk about the dynamics and what this will mean for the market here. Now, there are some properties that are exempt from these rules, such as those that are zoned as hotels and boarding houses, so they do not have to follow these rules that we just laid out. And an important note, the Mayor's Office of Special Enforcement cannot approve applications for units that are rent regulated. So you should definitely check the status of your home in case it falls under rent regulation. Office of Special Enforcement can't approve it as a short-term rental. Now let's talk about penalties, because New York City has said that they will penalize both hosts and short-term rental platforms that violate these rules. So if you saw a short-term rental platform's amount of listings on September 1st, and then you went back on September 6th, they probably look very different. There's probably a lot less listings available because of these new rules. There have been hosts who have been applying and getting their permits, but just by the nature of the laws, you know, if you're one person, you're not going to be able to live in 2 properties at once, presumably. So if you're not doing that, that's going to reduce the amount of units that you can have as short-term rentals. Now, just so you know, the short-term rental platforms are trying to fight back against this law. Airbnb, for example, has challenged the legality of it. It was just the first court case I know of was dismissed. They claim that they'll continue to fight against this law, and we'll see what happens going forward. But as of now, it's in effect. A couple of quick hitters. This law applies to all of New York City, all 5 boroughs, no matter the jokes we may make about them. All right, that's first. Second, it does not apply to friends and family members. So if you have friends or family members staying over, completely different story. Don't worry about these rules. Third thing, this law does not apply for rentals that are used for business purposes. So now, what should you do and what effects will this have? Well, we're going to see, and we already see, a lot less listings available in New York City for short-term rentals. That might mean there's more of available housing for long-term renters. That's one of the big effects I think we're going to see. I don't know if it's enough units to kind of level off the supply and demand and drop rental prices. They've kind of been slowing down recently anyways. So we'll see what happens there. And I'm curious about what's going to happen in the suburbs for now. like Westchester and Long Island, will they see an uptick in short-term rental registrations? For more information regarding this law, please be sure to consult with a real estate attorney. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. And again, if you need tenants, link down below, or feel free to give me a call or a text. I'm always happy to help. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.